What's going on, everyone? So I see a lot of talk and buzz, multiple articles like regularly about De'Andre Ayton and the Lakers potentially trading for De'Andre Ayton, as well as kind of just him being the flyer guy, right? Now, I want to start by saying that these reports aren't necessarily like we've gotten reports that the Lakers have held conversations about trading for like Robert Williams on the Portland Trail Blazers, but we haven't had like reports that like Lakers are actually having conversations about De'Andre Ayton. All the reports are just kind of like, hey, Lakers should really consider this, or hey, Lakers should. So it's kind of more just like personal like preference from some of these reports or reporters, rather than like, hey, Lakers are exploring or have had conversations about De'Andre Ayton. Now, there and have been buzz in the past of the Lakers maybe having some curiosity in a De'Andre Ayton. And look, he's a guy that is incredibly talented, right? And I believe genuinely that there is a version of De'Andre Ayton where we all go, that guy might be one of the best centers in all of basketball. I mean, the guy can do everything out there. The guy can shoot, he can, score around the rim, he can defend, he can rebound, but there's questions about his motor, there's questions about just his attitude, there's questions about kind of him in the locker room. Now, in his defense, he hasn't had as much noise around him since going to Portland, right? There was like stretches where it was pretty rough, right? Like as far as De'Andre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns and all that stuff, right? Particularly with Monty Williams and stuff. And, De'Andre Ayton like refused to check in at one point. It was just like an absolute mess. He's still very young. He's 26. He'll be 27 in like a month. And so, again, there is this sense of like, with a team like the Lakers, with like JJ and LeBron, and now you have Luka, and go get that guy in a De'Andre Ayton and unlock him and kind of get him right. Because, again, there's no doubt about his talents. I mean, the guy is an 18 to 20 point a game scorer and a 10 plus rebounder guy by himself, right? We've seen multiple seasons with him being able to do that. We've seen him on, that finals run, all that stuff. Like, we've seen the potential of a De'Andre Ayton. And then imagine him slotted alongside Luka for the next handful of years, right? I mean, I think Ayton's easily a 20 and 10 guy alongside Luka, plus, a guy that can make some plays out of the post and just, again, do a little bit of everything out there. Now, he's not this like super clamp defensive center, but he can hold his own on the defense side. He can block shots. He is a guy that I would love to have on the Lakers if you can get him for the right price, as well as if you can get him, right. Good thing is that he's on an expiring contract, right? So it is something where if you can get him, again, at the right price, that's the key. If you can get him at the right price, then there is this sense of like low risk, high reward, right? Where worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, you just kind of let him walk and it's like, good luck to you. But if it does work, it's like you might have solved your center position for the next 6+ years, right? So, and you look at this, he's making $35.5 million. I don't know if he ever gets that kind of money again, or at least on his next contract, right? Maybe it's a shorter term deal. I think you probably get him at least $10 million cheaper, right? Just because, again, his production has gone down and there is kind of this stigma behind him. He's a great example of a guy that can't get out of his own way, right? And again, to his credit, to his defense, he has done a much better job. But again, the reason we're in this position that we're in with him is because of him not being able to get out of his own way. But you look at him, right? Got the age, check. You got the talent, check. You got the skills, check. He's on an expiring contract, check, right? So Portland also needs to kind of figure out, what are they going to do? How many teams are lining up to sell the farm for a De'Andre Ayton? Probably not very many, if any at all. So they're probably not getting some crazy return for De'Andre Ayton. You might be able to get him reasonable and cheap. What are they going to do? They're going to sign him to a new long-term deal? right? I mean, you got Clegan and Robert Williams, who's also on an expiring, and whatever else they end up doing, whoever else they end up drafting and stuff. I mean, they could have multiple centers on their books next year. Like, they're gonna have to make some decisions either way. So, are they just going to be okay with just losing Ayton, or would you rather get, a connect or a first or something like that, and also still maintain expiring contracts and put yourself in a position, even if you had to trade like a Jared Vanderbilt, something like that, fine, so be it. But point is like Lakers could get to DeAndre Ayton's salary price, kind of take that risk if you can get him cheap, right? Like, again, if you have to trade Dalton Connect plus a first and whatever else, pick swaps, then nah, right? Again, there is a level of risk to it. There is this sense of like, is he going to be able to kind of focus better and put himself back into the right headspace and contribute back to winning, right? Like he was in Phoenix. If you can get that version of DeAndre Ayton, then yes, that'd be excellent. Even if you just get kind of that finals run DeAndre Ayton, that would be fantastic, right? Like, that'd do wonders for the Lakers. Now, again, I have said that I don't think that the Lakers necessarily need a super skilled big man like a DeAndre Ayton, but if you can get him at that price that's reasonable and whatnot, then why not? Why not explore it? And again, there's just been so much buzz about, hey, Lakers should go trade for DeAndre Ayton, right? Like, Portland, I know historically doesn't necessarily trade, but they gotta get off. They gotta get something. What are they just gonna lose him for nothing, or are they just gonna be like, we'd rather just lose him and gain no assets than trade him to the Lakers? I just don't see that happening, right? Again, if they're exploring and having conversations with the Lakers about trades, then they're at least open to the idea of making a trade with the Lakers, right? But what does DeAndre Ayton give you basketball production-wise, right? Because that's the key. Like, what does he provide? Well, again, you look at last year, problem is health, right? The most games he's ever played in a season was 71 games, and that was his rookie season. Now, Portland was a team that was kind of tanking there in certain spots and stuff. So, again, there's context there, but again, the most games he's ever played in a season was 71, and that was as a rookie. He's counting Phoenix years, all of that. So there's risk with him, right? There's both, on-court production as well as, being healthy. Best ability is availability. All these things matter in the context. But again, these are all things that the Lakers can use and kind of point out to get him at a reasonable price. Like, hey, we're not selling the farm for DeAndre Ayton when he could just leave us in free agency, 1. 2, there are concerns about his on-court production. 3, there are concerns about kind of just him getting out of his own way. And on top of that, it's like, the guy can't stay healthy. The guy's gave you 40 games last year, and you want us to trade Dalton Connect plus a 2031 first plus everything? Like, no, you're crazy, right? But again, 40 games played, 40 games started, 30.2 minutes per game, 11.7 field goal attempts per game, which is the second fewest of his career, 56.6% from the field, 3-point range. He took just under 1 attempt, which is by far the most of his career. He took 0.8 attempts, which is literally double the next most season. He did shoot 19% from 3-point range. Again, not really a 3-point shooter, but the potential's there. It's something that, I think if you kind of worked with him on over the next few off seasons, he might be able to be, not saying a leader in that, but at least serviceable enough to maybe knock down the occasional 3. That could be nice. That could be something that kind of opens his game, expands his game more. But he is a guy that can knock down at the elbow, in the mid-range, kind of, free throw line extended, right? Like, he's a guy that can shoot the basketball, right? But 2-point range, he shot 59.4% from the field on 10.9 attempts, EFG of 57.3%. Free throw shooting, he is a career 76% free throw shooter. He did shoot 66.7% last year, though, which is not great. But the previous year, he was 82.3. This was by far his worst free throw shooting season of his career. So to put that in context, like the closest he's gotten to that 66.7% line was he shot 74.6%. So basically 8% better on his worst free throw season since that. So was that kind of an outlier type thing, right? Now, as far as rebounds go, 10.2 rebounds, 1.6 assists, a steal, a block, and 14.4 points per game, which is tied for the fewest of his career. He had a season year 3 in Phoenix, in which he averaged 14.4 on the dot as well. This is a guy that's a career 16.4 points and 10.5 rebounds a game guy with a steal, a block. So again, guy that gives you some versatility there, can do multiple things on the basketball court. A guy that, again, at the right price, that's the key, at the right price, I'd be more than happy to bring it. Like, if we got news tomorrow that the Lakers traded for De'Andre Ayton, I'd be stoked. I'd be happy. Like, genuinely. I'd be like, that. Like, here we go. Let's go. Right? Like, he's a guy that, again, I do think has a lot of untapped potential. But there's risks and multiple risks in multiple different ways that come with him. If you can get him right and you can get him kind of focused, you'll look like absolute geniuses and look like the team that finally figured it out, right? So there is that potential of, like, you know, low risk, high reward type thing if you can get him at the right price. But let me know your thoughts and opinions. As always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question to you. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.